Hi, it's India. I wanted to do a video on strange stories that have happened in my life so far, because there's just quite a bit of odd things, and I feel like that's a good way to get to know somebody, is through the weird shit that happens in their life. So, I think today I'll tell you about... I just did another one a few seconds ago. So, I think I'll tell you about how we celebrated... not celebrated. Whew, that's morbid. How we celebrated Christmas, and how we had my aunt's funeral all in the same Christmas last year. This tale is not as sad, because it's really just fucking weird. So, some of the sadness is all cut out of that. The sheer, it's kind of like an episode of Law & Order, I'm not gonna lie. So, my great-aunt, my grandmother's sister, she had lost her husband. They were living in Florida, and he died. And then my aunt drove my great-aunt up to Seattle to live with them. And they were living there for a while. Well, she was living in this old folks home, on an island in the Washington area. And while she was there, she met this dude. And if you know anything about old folks home, they don't have a lot of activities. There's knitting and fornicating, and that's about it. So she met this dude, and they're hitting it off pretty well. They moved to Idaho, which is where I'm from, where I am at, and she gets cancer. Okay? She has cancer, and it's throat cancer, and she's doing pretty alright, but I mean, she's old, she doesn't really, nobody really appreciates getting cancer. So, she's living with this dude, and it's just weird from the beginning, because, while she has the cancer, she kills a guy, in a hit-and-run accident, and then she gets off of it because he doesn't have any family. And then the cancer goes away, but she gets really depressed because she had the cancer, and so she gets sick again. And she's still living with this dude, this old dude. And then it's the week of Christmas, and we get a call, and they're like, oh, Margie's dead, which is my great aunt. And I'm just she just got over cancer. She literally just got over cancer. How is she dead? What? And this is where the story starts, children. Grab something. If you haven't already noticed, this is going to be long-winded as fuck, so you better grab some refreshments right now. So, my uncles, on my mom's side, they go up to where my aunt and this dude had been living to go retrieve the body. And when they get there, they're like, oh, we're here for the body. And they're like, oh, here's an urn. And they're like, urn? What the hell are you talking about? I know this isn't for religious preferences, but like personal preferences. My aunt had specifically stated that she did not want to get cremated, like at all, no fire, and then this dude cremates her. After she's been on ice for several days, and if you don't know what that means, it means that the body's chilling out in this morgue area. So, without telling my family or anything, this guy that she'd been living with cremated her. And then they get to, when they're there at the morgue place, the mortician is like, we cremated her because her, power of attorney said so. And like, what are you talking about, power of attorney? And this guy, oh, and if you don't know, power of attorney means, somebody signs over, essentially, their legal rights. So if they're incapable, which often they are when they sign over their rights, to make a decision, this person makes decisions for them. Well, he had forged this power of attorney, had gotten several death certificates, and if you don't know this, when a person dies and you get the death certificates, you need that to get certain things from them, from their personal effects, like their bank account, which he did, like $3,000, and any money they had coming, like social security checks and stuff, you need that, because if somebody submits it, then all that money that they were getting gets cut off. But if not, then you can keep receiving money for them, which he did. And we're like, oh, well, what the fuck? So, we're like talking to the dude, and then we, like, my side of the family had to end up paying for her funeral expenses, the days that she was on ice, like, all this other shit, because this dude is like, oh, I'm too old, I'm too infirm, like, I can't pay for any of that. And through some more digging around, we figured out that he had been drugging her and taking her drugs, and at one point he had drugged her so much on morphine that she was in a coma for 3 days, and he thought she was dead already. And the only reason why she didn't die is because they had an in-home nurse coming in to check on her. So, Christmas Day was very interesting. It proceeds, we go over to my uncle's house, we have Christmas, it's nice and stuff, and then after presents, we go through my dead aunt's stuff. So, my aunt, who had been the one moving around my great aunt and everything, she essentially took all my great aunt's personal effects and, like, held on to them, and then whatever she didn't want, she, like, cast down to my mom and my uncle, who are her sister and brother. And there's, like, a ton of personal effects in there, because she had, my mom's from New York, and she had a lot of personal effects from my mom's childhood and my grandmother's childhood, my mom's mom. And she really hates my grandmother. So there was, like, a ton of shit she was holding on to. But what she didn't hold on to, and I kind of wish she did, was 10 boxes of china. 10 boxes of china. So, like, the weekend after Christmas, that's what we did, is we hauled furniture and china into the house, and the good thing we have 2 living rooms, because it took up the entire second living room. I have, like, a couple pictures, like, and it took up the second living room, it took up the first living room, there's so much china everywhere, and this lady liked to collect so much shit. There were, like, frog earrings, and there was, like, a cat clock, and cat figurines, and hella ugly candles and shit. I'm still, like, drowning in ugly china. And, yeah. So, That was about the murder of my aunt and Christmas Day. So, shit, this is long already. Alright, have a good day. I hope you have a better Christmas than I have had in the past.